Yeah, so the Avengers Infinity War finally came out this weekend, and I've seen the movie twice. I'm actually going to go see it a third time, but you know what? I'm going to jump right into spoilers, so there's a spoiler warning, guys, so you have been warned about the spoilers. So let's get talking about Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, so Avengers Infinity War, it's the third Avengers. Yeah, it's the third Avengers, and right now we're building up. This is 10 years of anticipation. This is what all comic book fans, like everyone, has been waiting for. People who are gonna go see this, we've been waiting for this, and it's been 10 years, guys. 10 years since the release of Iron Man, really the cinematic universe, Marvel. It started 10 years ago, so we're finally fighting Thanos. Finally. Now, real quick, I want to kind of talk about like just I guess how the movie starts. The movie starts basically the way Thor Ragnarok ended. I guess the post-credit scene, you see Thor and, Hulk, Loki, they're all coming across this giant ship. It's Thanos' ship. And yeah, Thanos, he's looking for the Infinity Stones to kind of like put it in his gauntlet. That way he could destroy the universe, at least half the universe. Yeah, and right off the bat, they just straight up, they murder all of Asgard. So like, whatever there was left at Thor Ragnarok, he just murders the entire ship, including Loki. And the gatekeeper for Asgard. I forgot his name. I can't remember his name. But they killed him, and then he kills Loki. He just snaps his neck, and boom, I guess Loki's dead. And like a lot of my problems kind of lie with this in the movie. Like straight up, it's just that the music in this movie is just. The movie, it's real lighthearted at the beginning. Granted, they might have had like a little darker opening, but I guess my problem with the movie is that, yeah, the music, it sucks. Not that it, I'm not saying that it sucks, but I've always had a problem with the Marvel movies. It's just that the music, it never captures the moments. They had the slight, little violins or whatever playing when they killed Loki, but then it goes straight back to like kind of triumphant music or whatever. The high notes, the ones that really don't get the feels going. It's just kind of like they treated Loki's death kind of just like, he's dead, screw it, and I'm a little disappointed in that. You can't kill Loki like that, but I guess they did. And then yeah, Thanos blows up the ship, and boom, we have our story. Hulk was teleported somewhere else by the gatekeeper. Basically, he was teleported to Earth. And Thor, he was on the ship when it blew up. And yeah, then we have our story. And basically the story, it just goes through all these little side missions that a bunch of characters are going through. And it kind of works. Now, not to say that every movie works like this, but, for a movie that has like a million characters just in one movie, I think this movie did it right. They paired off the characters with, characters that kind of complement each other. Thor got stuck with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Kind of, you felt like, when they would cut to the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor, it felt like you were watching Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor. Then you had Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange, along with a couple of other people. They went on their own mission, and it's real all the sarcastic characters, they went with each other. Then you have the people on Earth that are going to be fighting Thanos. They were all together, like Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Hulk. It fit real well. The characters that went together with each other, they all got together and they all fought together, and the chemistry there, it was really good. I like the way the characters, they communicated with each other. I wouldn't have any other way. It's probably the best way they could have done it in this movie. Right now, let's kind of talk about Thor and what he's going through. Thor's mission, he needed to go to the Diamond Star to kind of create a new weapon to defeat Thanos. And then, we have their story with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And, like I said, the beginning of the movie, it gets real lighthearted. There's a lot of jokes. It's a lot of fun. Me personally, if you guys ask me, like, I guess I warmed up to it after the second time. I kind of saw that it went well, because the movie starts out really lighthearted, then it kind of gets darker as it goes, and the more chaos that Thanos throws, or he causes, it gets darker along the way. I guess that was kind of cool, like, it gradually gets darker along the way, because the heroes, they really don't know what they're up against yet. But my problem was kind of like I said, the beginning, they treated Loki's death like kind of a throwaway, and it ruins the mood kind of thing, but I did enjoy like most of the movie after that. So right off the bat, Thanos, he gets a couple of Infinity Stones right at the beginning, and then, he goes to Earth to go get the other two, or he senses these warriors that he has to go get the two other Infinity Stones that's guarded by Doctor Strange, and then of course the Vision. Vision has the other Infinity Stone, it's in his mind. And yeah, so we have like these adventures that are going on Earth. All the Avengers that are on Earth, all the Avengers that are on Earth, they're trying to protect the Infinity Stones that, Vision has. Doctor Strange ends up on the ship that's going straight to Planet Titans, where Thanos is from. And so Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange get stuck there. Later on, he's joined by, a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I know Mantis and Star-Lord, they go with him, and Drax. Those are the people that end up going with him. And, we have our story of, like, all these characters, they're all on their separate missions. Now, the story for the villain, let me just say that Thanos is probably one of the best villains I've seen in a long time in cinema history. Like, I think he's probably going to go down as one of the best. He's going to be, like, right up there with Joker and right up there, with Darth Vader. Like, he's really bad. When he comes on the screen, like, they have that music playing, it's one of those things, like, you see Thanos and you're just kind of like, oh, crap, people are going to die. And, it's just a lot of instructions follows Thanos wherever he goes. Like, one of the coolest scenes I liked was when they went to Nowhere. If you guys don't know what Nowhere is, it's that giant, I'm pretty sure it's that giant floating alien head, the one with the city and the collectors in there. Yeah, Thanos ends up getting there first. He's going after one of the Infinity Stones that the Guardians of the Galaxy gave the collector in a previous movie. And yet, there you see Gamora, she's gonna kill Thanos, and she goes, and for a second, I thought she actually injured Thanos, but then I forgot Thanos has the reality ring. So what happens is when Gamora kills him, it's kind of an illusion. So when she stabs him through the throat and he's there dying, you hear Thanos' voice. He's just all like, oh yeah, I can see you carry Gamora. And then like all of a sudden the background just starts like clearing up, like all of what's fake. And it turns out he was already there Nowhere, and he wiped out, I'm pretty sure he wiped out the Collector and everyone else on that planet or whatever, that alien head. And so I was just like, oh crap, that's messed up. And then, yeah, he ends up capturing Gamora to take her. She knows where the Soul Stone is, so she's going to take him there. And probably one of the best scenes in the movie, it's my personal favorite. You get to this planet. I forgot the name of the planet. It's a long name. It's a big name. Not a lot of people can pronounce it. Maybe they can. Yeah, so she takes him to this planet where the Soul Stone is. And if you guys remember from like 9 years ago or something, the Captain America, the first Avenger, freaking, what's his name? Skull. I'm trying to remember his face. Red Skull, my bad. Red Skull ends up touching the Soul Stone. It transports him somewhere, and it transports him to this planet, and he becomes a guardian of the Soul Stone. They don't really explain it, but it's probably the best way to introduce the characters. So I was a little surprised to see Red Skull there. I was just like, oh crap, he's stuck there. Yeah, and during that, Thanos is like, oh, tell me where the Soul Stone is, and he takes him to this cliff. And then Red Skull kind of tells him that, yeah, you can get the Soul Stone, but the Soul Stone asks you to give him something in return, something you most care about. And it's probably one of the best scenes in the entire movie, because you finally realize that, yeah, Thanos has a motive. And, the motive behind Thanos is just, it's ridiculous, because you can tell he's not one of those bad guys just like, oh, I'm bad for the sake of being bad. This story does a good job of fleshing out why he wants the universe to like just be destroyed. In the comics, it was kind of like he wanted to impress Mistress Death, if I'm correct, in the Infinity Gauntlet comic. And from there, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, he's trying to get with this chick that's in like death. In this one, no, it's a little different. This one, he feels, he goes to planets and he wipes out half the population. That way the planet has the time to, kind of like, prosper a little bit, basically like just say all the poverty that was happening on Gamora's planet. He killed half the population, and it shows that scene. I love that scene. That scene's really good. And when he kills off half the population, he tells Gamora, he's like, yeah, I did it, because Gamora was kind of fighting him and arguing with him that he shouldn't have done that. He says, yeah, but I did it, so, and ever since, how the world's been living there, everyone's been going to sleep with full bellies, it's peaceful, there's no war. Like, he straight up tells her the reason behind it. So his idea is that, like, if he wipes out half the universe, everyone can kind of prosper, and it'll be like, the end of the world. It won't be the end of the world, but it'll just kind of be like everyone will kind of realize, what they have and whatever. You get the point. So when it came down to this, Gamora kind of tells him, like, right when he's about to, like, he wants the Soul Stone to do his thing, he starts crying, and then, like, he turns to the screen, and it's one of the best cinematic shots, because you have, like, this close-up of his face, and you see the tear coming down his eye, and Gamora's telling him, like, oh, you love nothing. But when he turned around and he started crying, my immediate thought was just like, oh crap, he actually loves Gamora, like that's his daughter, adopted daughter, by the way. And then, yeah, and then Red Skull's kind of like, oh, the tears aren't for him, or or they're for someone else or whatever. He says something like that. It was really cool how he said it. And yeah, he drags Gamora off the cliff, or like he drags her to the cliff in like slow motion and just kind of throws her off. And that scene, let me just tell you, that scene, it was real emotional. Like, not for me personally, I get some people were thinking like, oh yeah, Gamora died, that's pretty sad. For me personally, I was thinking like, yo, like kind of shows like he just lost something that was really dear to him, and just that he could, he could fulfill his destiny. And he tells Gamora that he couldn't ignore his destiny. Not like he did it once and he's not going to do it again. And I'm curious to know what that first destiny was. Maybe we'll get a little bit more in, you know, the second part to Infinity War. But that was really interesting. He's just like, oh yeah, I ignored my destiny once and I can't do it again, as he was crying. And then he throws Gamora off. I was just like, oh man, he really believes what he's doing is right, no matter what the cost is. And that really built his character up. Like I said, that's one of the best scenes, I think. Later on, you know, freaking Thanos, he's returning to Titan. Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Drax, Mantis, and, you know, Spider-Man, they're all there. And they had the coolest showdown in the entire movie was with all those characters right there. Man, that was probably one of the best fights ever. There's this one scene where Thanos, he gets the moon, he crushes it, and he just hurls it at Iron Man. I was just like, oh damn, Thanos just pulled a black materia on freaking Iron Man. That was awesome. Legit, that's the first thing that came to mind. It was awesome because all these meteors are hitting the planet, and then just the moon falls down. Iron Man is just like blasting through everything. It's the best scene. I think it's one of the best scenes in the entire movie. And yeah, they subdue Thanos, and you know, freaking Thanos finally tells, Mantis tells everyone that yeah, he's mourning, and everyone kind of gets the idea like, oh, he killed Gamora because they saw him kidnap her earlier in the film. And yeah, Star-Lord just loses it, and the gauntlet is off. Like, the gauntlet is just like, it's right there. And right when freaking Star-Lord punches him, Spider-Man and Iron Man are getting the gauntlet off his hand. When he punches him, it distracts him or whatever, or Mantis, and she comes off, he comes back to his senses. He grabs the freaking gauntlet just by, like, you know, right there, right, like, he just grabs it by the edge, and he puts it back on, and he's back in the fight. Yeah, so Thanos gets back in the fight, you know, he beats the crap out of everyone, all while on Earth, Black Panther, Captain America, Hulk, he's in the Hulkbuster, by the way. I was a little disappointed. In the trailers they show on TV, they show the actual Hulk, but I guess they replaced him. It was a little odd, you know, and that movie shot where, you know, they're all running, and the Hulk's right behind them and everything, that movie shot never happens in the entire movie, just letting you know, guys, so if you're disappointed, I'm just letting you know ahead of time, that movie shot never happens. But yeah, they're fighting on planet Earth, you know, trying to defend the Vision. And on Wakanda, they're trying to get the Infinity Stone out of Vision without killing the Vision. And all while Thor is opening up the freaking Diamond Star to make a new weapon on that dwarf planet. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. That's why I couldn't really do a movie review without spoilers, because the entire movie is a spoil. Also, another thing that was disappointing, you didn't really see Hawkeye. Hawkeye is not in the movie at all. I guess they said he retired or something. It was a pretty lame excuse, but I'm pretty sure he'll come back in the next Avengers movie. Yeah, so on Earth, you know, while they're having that giant battle with, you know, everyone that's on Earth at the time, it's a really cool battle, but, you know, it's just kind of like, it's nothing I haven't seen before. I've seen them do this in the first Avengers. I've seen it do it in Avengers, you know, Age of Ultron. I've seen them do it in Justice League, where it's just a swarm of armies. You know, it's your typical showdown. Nothing really too spectacular. The big showdown was whenever Thanos was on screen, I thought. That was, like, the best part. So it turns out Thanos ends up on Earth, you know, but at nick of time, you know, you have Thor show up with his new hammer. Stormbreaker is the one that was used to kill, you know, the great giant in Dark Souls 3. You guys know what I mean. Yeah, so now you have like half the Avengers on Earth, and the Iron Man, Spider-Man, Drax, you know, Doctor Strange, Mantis, Star-Lord, they're all on planet Titan, stuck there because they lost their showdown with, you know, Thanos. And Thanos, like I said, he went to Earth right after stabbing Iron Man. Iron Man's not dead, though, sadly. Yeah, so Scarlet Witch finally, you know, she looks at Vision because, you know, she don't want Vision to die because they're the love interest of this movie. And so Vision kind of tells her, like, hey, you have to kill me. I'm sorry. You know, blow up the stone. You know, it's the only chance. Otherwise, Thanos is going to have all the Infinity Stones. And let me tell you, that is probably one of the most emotional moments in the movie. The ending of the movie is what really everyone wants to talk about. And this is where I'm getting at. Because while Scarlet Witch is like, she's at the last moment, you know, they hear that Thanos is there. They see him. Thanos is just kind of like ripping through everybody. He's freaking tosses Hulk, he phases through the Hulk or whatever, and Hulk gets stuck in the rocks, and then you have Black Widow. I don't know what Black Widow was going to do, but she gets stuck, like, you know, with rocks over her. You have Captain America. I got to tell you, like, when he, like, hit Captain America, I thought it was going to be like the comics, because in the comics, Thanos kills Captain America by, like, backhanding him, like, just But in this one, you see Thanos, he's about to punch him. Captain America grabs his hand, and like Thanos just moves him and just he slams him on the floor. I thought that was a death of Captain America, but no, he's fine. No, so he takes down all the Avengers that are right there, and that I think that would have been a perfect point to kill him. But I guess they're saving it for something else because Thanos, right when he's about to get to Scarlet Witch or whatever, Scarlet Witch, she blows up the stone, killing the Vision. And what sucked is that I just realized, like, when that happened, I'm like, oh crap, Thanos has a time stone. And yeah, sure enough, Thanos, he goes like this, whoosh, and like he brings back the Vision just to grab him by the forehead and just rip the entire thing out. And then he has all 5 Infinity Stones, or 6, all 6 Infinity Stones in his gauntlet. Let me tell you, I didn't think that was going to happen in this movie. And the movie, it's already getting close to a close. But at last second, here comes Thor. He freaking swings that Stormbreaker right through the chest. Yeah, Thanos, he's there lying on the floor. And then Thor comes up to him and he just shoves the axe like straight into his chest, you know, even more. And like slowly you just hear Thanos, he's like weak because, you know, he got hurt. And he just says, "You should have gone for the head." And then he snaps his fingers. And at the like the way Thor was, he was just like, "Whoa!" I'm gonna tell you, everybody in the audience, we all kind of, we were just, our jaws just dropped. We're just like, yeah. And then just like that, Thanos wipes out half the universe and half the Avengers along with it. And this is probably like the part of the movie where I was just like, "Oh crap, he actually did it. He killed off half the Avengers." And in my mind, I'm thinking like, he didn't kill, like, he doesn't have the selection to kill all the Avengers, so, like, I guess he just knew that snapping his fingers would mean that, oh, I'm going to snap half of, you know, I'm going to snap my fingers and half the universe is going to disappear. He doesn't really have a say-so, I guess. That's the way the Infinity Gauntlet works. But yeah, then he disappears right afterwards. He goes through a teleporter, and he goes back to his, you know, his planet or whatever. We could watch the sunset as the world is, you know, it's cleansed and he can rest. While that's happening, you start seeing other Avengers. They all just start noticing, yeah, they're all disappearing. All of them. At first, you see Black Panther. He starts disappearing. Bucky disappears. Really, the ones that die, it was just all the Avengers. If you're not an original Avenger, you're dead. The one that got me the most, though, was Spider-Man when he died. Because Spider-Man saw Star-Lord, Doctor Strange. And right before Doctor Strange left, he kind of told Iron Man, like, it's the only way. That it was the only way that... I'm guessing that he saw all those different alternate universes, which was like 1 million of them. And he said he only saw one where they won. And the one where they won, I guess, was we had to give him the Infinity Stone. And before Thanos kills Iron Man, because he had stabbed him through the chest, he tells him to spare him. So I'm pretty sure Iron Man has a really big part to play in the next Infinity War. Because that's the only way they can win. But yeah, right before Spider-Man was dying, he saw everyone else, you know, disappear, except for Iron Man. Iron Man stayed alive, and he tells Iron Man, like, "Oh, I don't want to go." And that one hit me, because that's when the music starts kicking in, and you're just like, oh, man. Because you could tell Iron Man he felt responsible for, like, Spider-Man's death. He dies in Spider-Man's arms, and they just turn to ash and disappear. And I'm just like, oh, crap, they killed Spider-Man. How are we going to get Homecoming 2? It kind of leaves a problem, like... It's just, like, I saw some characters die, but, like, you know, the feels are there. Like, if it was just a standalone movie and that was it, I'd be like, oh, yeah, you know, that happened. But knowing that how much money these characters made, the studios, I don't think that the character's actually dead, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, the movie ends like that, and the saddest moment, it just ends with the small piano playing the Avengers theme, and just Avengers Infinity War pops up. And then you have the post-credits scene, like, later at the very end of the credits, but... oh my god, it was an emotional movie. Like, that sad part at the end where just everyone kind of goes, it's messed up. Everyone was shocked to see that happen because not a lot of people expected, oh yeah, the Avengers are going to die. But I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they killed off half the Avengers in this movie. I'm hoping they stay dead. Hoping. But yeah, guys, in the end, the Avengers Infinity War, it was actually a really fantastic movie. But I'm going to go ahead and speculate real quick for a little bit. So, in like a part of the movie, I kind of skipped over this part. But yeah, Doctor Strange starts talking about how there was 1 million other possibilities. And they lost every single one of them except for one. And I'm thinking, like, if they can get the Time Stone back, or maybe go back with, like, that one guy who stayed guarding, you know, Doctor Strange's house or whatever. If they can go back in time and kind of change some stuff, like, there's obviously an alternate universe. So I'm thinking, like, I was watching Jeremy Jahns. He actually made a real good idea of it, that maybe there's another universe where all the other Avengers died, but the ones that died in this one, they're all alive. So maybe they have to team up. Another thing my dad and I were kind of speculating was just that maybe this is the part where the X-Force comes in. If they could tie in the X-Men, maybe Deadpool. They can go back in time, kind of change the universe a little bit to where the X-Men exist in Avengers to go and stop Thanos and return everything back to normal. Or they can bring in Captain, or what was his name? Adam Warlock. That was Adam Warlock. I think he kills Thanos, or it was Nebula, it was one of them. And there's a lot of characters that could come in, but at the end post-credit scene, you have Samuel L. Jackson. He pages, what's her face, Captain Marvel, right before he fades into like whatever, dust. And he fades into dust right after Robin from How I Met Your Mother fades into dust. I can't remember her name, but I'm calling her Robin. So yeah, she fades to dust. Samuel L. Jackson fades to dust. It's all gone. Like everyone's left in this terrible place. But let me tell you, for a movie like the Infinity War, I got what I paid for. Like I said, I kind of wish the tone was a lot darker. As far as like the only problem I had with the movie was just, I guess, the soundtrack. The soundtrack really, it isn't that memorable, but when it's meant to hit, it's meant to hit. You know what I mean? So, but like whoever's doing the music or the score for Avengers Infinity War, I kind of wish that they would go a little darker or a little not as lighthearted, because the movie, it's not a lighthearted movie, but with the music the way it is, it makes it a lighthearted movie. It doesn't capture the tone very well, in my opinion. But really, that's my only gripe, guys. But if you guys haven't already, you guys should probably go see the Infinity War. Really, if you guys are watching this, you probably have, but you don't care about spoilers. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. And as always, guys, if you guys like